What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, my name is Eric Cartafalsa. I trained myself into the low 90s, and now I help pitchers all over the world make the same transformation. And all we really do on this channel is talk about throwing 90 miles per hour. So if you don't want to hear about throwing 90, then click away. In this video, we're going to be covering why you overthink your mechanics so often and how to actually stop. Because overthinking mechanics is one of the most common issues that I see in pitchers today that I coach, and also something that I experienced when I was in high school, and it costed me a Division I scholarship. But I don't want to waste any more time here. Let's get right into it. Okay, so the main reason why you're overthinking your mechanics is information overload, okay? Now, what does this mean? As a pitcher and as someone who has social media and access to a bunch of different resources when it comes to information on pitching, you're taking in a ton of stuff every single day. And if you're watching this, you probably understand that pitching is super individualized. You need to be doing things that directly relate to you. Now, when we look at all of the different things on this board, right? This obviously represents your brain, and this, these arrows down here are all different sources of information that you're consuming on a daily basis. So we have, teammates that are throwing harder than you. We have Instagram drills, TikTok drills, high school and college pitching coaches, Twitter or X, whatever you call it, videos from there, and then your private in-person coach. Now, the thing is that you are hearing different stuff from all of these different avenues here, okay? And you realize that in order for you to actually start making progress, you probably just need to do the things that relate directly to you. But the problem is that you have all of these different people, all of these different platforms telling you different things, but you don't actually know what relates to you. So when you go to throw or when you go to pitch, that causes you to start overthinking. And you might even be, telling yourself cues in between pitches. Say you miss up an arm side with a fastball. You might be getting the ball back from the catcher and thinking to yourself like, oh, I got to stay closed longer, just a little bit longer. And then I need to do, this with my front glove. How do you think that you can still compete and get guys out when you have all of these thoughts going on? You simply can't, but it's not your fault. You just haven't been taught the right ways to eliminate overthinking so that you can actually go out and compete. And you might be saying to yourself right now, well, I have a pitching coach. I have, a high school or college pitching coach, and that's awesome. And your pitching coach's job is to help you. But what you're probably running into is going to them for advice or fixes or different drills. They're giving you some advice, but you keep reverting back to the same things. And why is that? Well, it's because, you're listening to this coach here, but then you're going on social media and you're seeing what's on X, you're seeing what's on TikTok, you're seeing what's on Instagram, you're seeing what your teammates are doing. And maybe you have a private in-person pitching coach and the information that they give you contradicts this information. So you just get left, running in circles and, overthinking. And that's actually the exact problem that my athlete Nolan had before working with me. He was going to an in-person pitching coach once a week, but he was getting a bunch of different stuff outside of that session from TikTok, from YouTube, from Instagram. And before working with me, he was throwing 83, and now he's throwing 87 because we put him on the right routine and got him doing only the things that he needed, and he completely stopped overthinking. So if you want to learn about how you can do the same thing, just click that first link in the description below. But back to the video. When you have, all of these things going on, okay, you can think of it like a computer, okay? A computer, when you have a bunch of tabs open, it's probably not going to run as smoothly. It's probably not going to run as fast. It's the same thing with your brain. When you have all of these different tabs open, when you're paying attention and consuming all of this different information, you are going to move slower. You're going to find it harder to go out and compete. So you need to eliminate all of the noise. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so step one to eliminate the overthinking is identify your lowest hanging fruit. Okay, now pitching is something that is super individual. There's no secret about that. Okay, what you need, how you throw is different than what I need and how I throw. And same thing with all of the other pitchers in the world. So step one is figuring out what you need to work on the most. Maybe it is your front leg, maybe it's the timing of your arm at foot strike, maybe it's your back leg. I have no idea. This is a YouTube video and I don't know you, so I have no idea what your mechanical deficiencies look like. But figuring out what that lowest hanging fruit is the first step to actually unlocking your mechanics. Because if you don't know what to work on, then it's very, very hard for you to make progress. All right, so step two, after we've identified our lowest hanging fruit, we want to integrate with freedom-based throwing plus constraint-led drills based off individual deficiencies. Now, what the heck does that even mean? I'm gonna explain it. Whatever your lowest hanging fruit is, whatever your individual deficiency, you need to start integrating constraint-led drills that cater to those deficiencies and hammering those drills and integrating them with freedom-based throwing, stuff like athletic catch, stuff like long toss, stuff like pull downs. And the reason being is because we want to have a mix between constraints and freedom, okay? Now, why do we want that? It's because we need to focus on what we need to fix. There's no question about that. You can't just, start doing freedom-based throwing and expect all your problems to go away. Okay, we actually have to fix the deficiencies, but we want to still give our body a chance to express itself and be free and throw hard. Okay, and that's where the long toss, that's where the pull downs, that's where the athletic catch comes into play, right? So if we have a mix of both, then we start to make it really easy on ourselves to win. Okay, we're hitting both sides of the spectrum. Okay. We're fixing our deficiencies, but we're also improving our ability to move freely while increasing our power output by doing things like long toss, athletic catch, and pull downs. Okay, step three. Now that we've identified our lowest hanging fruit, now that we've started to do the constraint-led drills that directly fix that lowest hanging fruit and also integrate the freedom-based throwing, now we can start blending to the mound. So what does that actually mean? Okay, once we start to make changes to our mechanics, a lot of the times that's going to be done on flat ground. That's going to be done on your side sessions and just your everyday throwing, and that's fine. But we want those patterns to ultimately translate to the mound because that's where you're going to be competing. And a lot of guys make the mistake of only working on their mechanics during flat ground, during catch play every day with their teammates. And like I said, that's completely fine. But if we are not blending to the mound, then it's going to be very, very hard for you to translate those patterns. So getting the drills that you need that fix your deficiencies and actually doing them on the mound and blending them with your normal delivery so your brain can start to associate those patterns with the surface that you're going to be playing on is super important. We have to be doing this, okay? So that is step three. Now, you can take all of the information that I told you today, directly apply it into your training, and probably make pretty decent progress. But if you want my one-on-one help directly to see results like Aaron, who gained 10 miles per hour, Nolan, who gained 6 miles per hour, Ray, who gained 7 miles per hour, and Cage, who gained 6 miles per hour, then click the first link in the description below and book a call with me. We'll talk about where you're at now, where you want to get to, and how I can help.